Hey guys, Adam Perry here with TrueDFS, and I'm going to go over a couple slates that we've got for today's MLB action on DraftKings and on FanDuel. And, we'll just go over the early slate, see where we get. We'll do it on DraftKings, we'll do it on FanDuel, and then we'll hop on over to the night slate, see what we get. I'm going to be brief. I'm just going to use projections and the contest and the play-by-play and contest sims to run lineups. I'll be brief. This is my last show for a while. I've got to do some packing. I'm going to be out of the country, so wish me luck. But and hopefully me or someone will get a takedown on my last day here in the country. But someone will be filling in for me, so don't worry. And like and subscribe because it still helps us out a lot. Check out TrueDFS.com. Check out the packages. Everything that I use here, you could get for like $25 more than you'd pay to just get it alone. And you get Sheets' projections, Goldie's projections, the Paid Analytics model for DFS and betting. It's the perfect time to get in because football is starting. And I know you want to play NFL DFS. I'm going to miss NFL DFS for the first 6 weeks. I'm bummed about it, but definitely check that out. There's a promo code NFL 2025, all caps. You get 33% off. So you're actually paying less than you would for SaberSim. And it's not a la carte, right? It comes with all those other things. So check it out. What's up, Andy? Afternoon to you too. So let's go ahead and build for the early slate. I'm just going to plug in Goldie's stuff and let it rip. I will make some changes to this deck. I mean, it's a 4-gamer. So I definitely want 5-mans and 4-mans. Let's just say 4-2-2. I'm not going to go over why I do that. I've explained so many times why. But basically, I think, you want to get your pool with as many gradable lineups as you can because you only have a pool of 5,000 and it's really small. So let's check weather for a second while it's going. Doesn't look like there's anything on the early slate. We'll get to this on the main slate with the Tampa and Chicago issues, but weather not going to be an issue. Detroit, some rain, but it's holding out just west. Winds blowing in. I wouldn't worry about that or take much stock into that. For what it's worth, the total on the game has actually been rising. It's like over 9 now. It opened at like 8.5. So last night. So you could have got some good closing line value too. But in any event, what's the key to this slate? Really, the key is the late swap question. Nothing really stands out so much. I mean, Mets are going to look good. They've been hitting in Detroit. Arizona and Texas keep looking good. But the big question is what happens in these early games? What do your lineups have in these early games? And what are you swapping to? I mean, that's going to be the key is not if you should late swap, but when to, I guess, or when to do it. I would do it. This is 240 Central. I'd do it at about 235 Central, unless these games are over. You could do it as soon as the games are over. But you're going to have live ownership and you're going to have live results. So you got to use them. So what are we getting to pitching-wise using Goldie's stuff? Whole bunch of Nestor Cortez, 56%. We're right there with the field. Nestor could be a little scary, but he's best pitcher on this slate. Zach Gallen, Yuri Perez looks good. I guess just the price thing, we're getting to a little less of him, but he's a good real-life pitcher. I don't know, doesn't project as well, but we get a little good amount over the field on Perez. Right there with Gallen. It's kind of right there on everyone. Just playing that kind of GTO sort of style, taking ownership into account, of course, but still, getting guys at their rates of being at the winning lineup to a large extent to keep our portfolio afloat. These stacks, we got Arizona, Mets, Miami. We kind of called that with the Mets and Arizona. Not as much Texas as I thought, but fair enough. San Diego there. I mean, the issue is the price isn't right, but they look good against Bovich. As far as 5-man goes, ton of Miami. Arizona a little pricier, so you don't get as much. Miami going to look good. Who's pitching for Washington? Obviously not someone very good. Nope, it's Mitchell Parker. Miami with the strong total and the cheap prices. Just getting a whole lot of that. 4-man stacks. A little more Arizona, easier to fit in. Then you get to Washington. We'll hedge our Perez exposure. Let's see, who's Nestor's San Diego? So do we get any Baltimore to hedge in? Not really. It's not a Baltimore kind of slate against Nestor. So Old Saberson would be giving you Baltimore. But now we're going to manage this portfolio a little more safely. And yeah, there you have it. That's what I'm getting to right now. Things will change. I'll tell you what, if my stuff's doing bad early, then when I run late swaps on here from that San Diego stuff, I'm probably am going to get to Baltimore and maybe some Texas, as opposed to the chalkier Arizona and San Diego, just depending on how lineups are doing. So if you are, out there watching this, trying to figure out how to build it by hand, I can't exactly tell you what to do, but I could tell you that if you're late swapping and you want to be, that's the pivot to look for, right? Is getting off those. If your stuff's, if you have like Perez in a lineup, or you got Clay Holmes, or you got Mize, something like that, Mitchell Parker even, and it's doing poorly, you get to some Baltimore, maybe some Texas, and get off the higher owned stuff to try and salvage your lineup. And vice versa. If it's hitting, you may want to get to even more Arizona, more San Diego. So just something worth thinking about. Let's jump over to FanDuel, and then we'll go on the main slate. But I always get asked about this early stuff, so we're going to build for it. And, it's a question on now it's only a 3-gamer. For some reason, they don't have the San Diego one. It's only a few minutes later, but I still only want 4-man stacks. I don't think you're supposed to, in the big GPPs, abandon correlation. Now you can, and you can get plus EV lineups, but you can get a lot of junk in your pool of 5,000 too. So I don't think I want to abandon those. I want as many candidate lineups that I think are going to grade well. What's up, Alan? Does wind blowing in matter? No, it doesn't. I mean, first of all, that's going to be captured in the betting market, and the betting markets are going to govern the projections. Like, this is a bottom-up projection system, but it's still governed by the betting markets as a sort of a control check to make sure things don't get out of hand. So no, that's already captured in the projection. So we would be double counting if we counted that. And I think the other issue, Alan, is these things with Ross weather. It's excellent if you want to try and figure out if games are going to get delayed or postponed. But the weather thing is A, like I said, double counting. B, not necessarily how wind plays out on the field. I pointed to a podcast about this not that long ago. I'm going to try and point to you. I don't have the exact episode, but this Rates and Barrels podcast here, like a week or two ago. This is the best fantasy podcast. It's not a DFS podcast, but it is for year-long fantasy, like the best podcast. And they did an episode on wind, and the wind in the town, the wind around the stadium is not necessarily the wind in the stadium, nor does it necessarily affect it how you would think. So what Roth is doing is great for, postpone risk and stuff, but it's all counted already by the betting markets, which are efficient. And on top of that, it's just not the way you want to use weather analytically. So I don't recommend putting any stock into that. That's not to diss Roth. I check Roth every day. And as you see on the stream, I check him every day and really appreciate what he does. But I don't think the weather edge is an edge at all. And in fact, it's a leak. It's a leak. You're double counting. Let's see if anyone's in Discord. Oh, she says up. Okay. Let's see 150 if it changed anything. Yeah, here we get more Gallon. Gallon Perez. Then you get some of the Jack Leiter. You don't have Cortez taking up all that ownership. So pretty spread out here. Exposure to everyone. Let's see in the stacks if it's like all Arizona. Or sorry, Miami. We could have expected that. Yeah, a lot of Miami, then Arizona. Then we get to the Mets. So just getting in those higher projected ones. Detroit's the one team. I mean, their total's not bad. It's not great for this slate. It's not a bad total. It's ahead of Washington, but I guess the price isn't right and the ownership's not right, and we're just not getting a lot of the four-man Detroit stuff, and really not any Detroit stuff. They're our lowest owned stack, despite having the same total as Texas, Washington. They may even have a little bit of a higher total than Texas. Let's see, team totals. 3.5 minus 127. June, Texas. Yeah, I mean, Detroit's basically even, just the slightest hair below Texas, and more than Washington. Okay. So there you have where we get on FanDuel. Let's jump over to the main slate. We'll run for DraftKings. What's up? Morning to you too, Cujo. Glad you're here. All right, let's run using Goldie's stuff for the main slate. I'll use Goldie's and I'll use Saber Sims and see how changing the inputs affects things. I'm only going to be using 5-mans in my pool. I'd want plus EV 4-mans, but I don't want the pool populated with all these negative EV 4-mans that I'm going to get to as well. I'm going to get to a lot if I bring them in. So I just want candidate lineups that I want to get a grade on, because I only get 5,000, and I wish I got 50,000, 100,000. Then I would let the smaller stuff in. So we'll talk about it real quick. NFL 2025 promo code. It's all caps. Check it out at TrueDFS.com. You can get everything I'm using for 33% off. It actually gets you pay less than you would for SaberSim alone, and then you get everything else with it, like premium Discord, Sheets' projections, Goldie's projections, the Pay Dirt analytics model. NFL starts tomorrow. I'm going to miss it, unfortunately. I'm going to be out, but NFL starting tomorrow, I mean, you can't beat that, right? So if you haven't got your projections yet, if you haven't got your optimizer yet, this is the best one out there, I think. And you can get a really robust package from us. What's up, Durin? Morning to you too. If you guys have any thoughts or questions, put them in chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rattling off what I'm doing. So let's see. Let's run the Sims and simulate the flagship for the main slate here. I haven't even looked. You asked me who went, but I have not looked. I don't know who on earth is even on this slate. And I don't care, because I'm a projections and Sims guy. So I'm going to let the numbers answer these things for me. Zebby Matthews and Ryan Bergert, my two highest exposed pitchers, over the field on both. Robbie Ray looking pretty good. I'm slightly above the field on him. Got some Nola. Was it his last start that Nola got like trashed? But he's good. But Milwaukee's tough, but still getting to Nola, Will Warren, Jeffrey Springs, but our highest owned, that Zebby and Bergert. Zebby getting the White Sox. White Sox can hit, but they can also strike out a ton. They could be pretty bad. The win odds are strongly in Minnesota's favor. So it's a Zebby kind of slate. We're not getting too much of him, but pretty healthy dose. Same with Bergert against the Angels. Angels suck, as we know. I imagine Trout's probably not going to be in the lineup. Let's see if Trout's projected in. Well, Trout projected in right now. We'll see if Trout stays in the lineup. We can look at hitters. A lot of the San Francisco stuff. Yeah, we're waiting for that sort of mid to late night hammer with San Francisco. Let's see how many San Fran stacks we get. overall half our lineups, 30% of our 5-mans, just a ton of San Francisco. It makes sense. It's hard to get off of that. Then you get the Kansas City against the Angels again. These are the same two teams we had last night. Then we had some questions about Cubs. Cubs are looking pretty good tonight. We'll get them at 10%. I mean, these are the pivots if you don't want to play chalk. You get Cubs, Angels, some Mariners in Tampa. Tampa obviously is a good pitcher on the mound, but it's a hell of a place to hit. Let's see who Tampa's got on the bump here. No? Who's highest? Oh, Hauser? Yeah, not getting more Mariners, though. I guess that's just a price thing. The Mariners are priced up, so we're not getting Hauser or the Mariners. It's kind of a zero-pronger, I guess. But I do like the Mariners in this spot, but, who wouldn't? But just sort of price-wise, I think we're getting kind of priced out on them, and that's probably what's happening. But we'll see. Let's see how many of the 5-mans we did get to on Seattle. Not a whole lot. 10 of them, about just under 7% of our portfolio. So there's a look at what I'll be doing because I use Goldie's projections. But let's switch to SaberSim's stuff and see how changing those inputs affects what our portfolio looks like. So let's change our projections here, and we're going to rebuild. I mean, we're still going to get – I can't imagine that we don't get nearly the same amount of San Francisco and a lot of Kansas City, but we'll see. We'll see if we get more Cubs, less Cubs, more Seattle, less Seattle. See if we still get as Berggren and Zebby as our highest owned pitchers. We'll see, because what are we doing here? We got 5,000 lineups. We're changing the makeup of the pool by getting way different lineups in our set by using a different set of projections. And then it gives the Sims, when it simulates these contests 100,000 times, something totally different to choose from. There's weather here. I forgot to look at that. There's issues in Chicago. It did rain a little bit this afternoon here, and it could rain later, I've heard, and Roth agrees. So you got to look out for that. Little bit of an issue in Kansas City. Keep an eye out. Minnesota seems fine. Keep an eye out in St. Louis. Really, Cubs is the one you really got to keep an eye out for. So I'm not going to make any changes here, and we'll do what we do. But as you build lineups, especially before lock, keep this in mind that the weather needs to be monitored. So I would keep checking out Roth's page. You could, of course, check out his Twitter page. You get even more updates. Really important stuff. And let's see, our highest owned batters, obviously San Fran guys. Highest owned pitching, yeah, look at how much it changes by changing the inputs to SaberSim. Ton of Robbie Ray. Then you get same amount of Berggren, a little less Zebby. Warren jumps up. You get some Kirby. Way a little bit less on Nola. Look at all the Robbie Ray. Way over the field. Way different than if we use Goldie stuff. So you get Ray in Colorado. It's always scary, but it is Colorado. Their total's not bad, but they do suck. So I can't say I mind it. Let's see in stacks. A little less San Francisco. More of the 5-man San Francisco's, but less overall. Kansas City, our second highest. Same about the Cubs. Colorado jumps up and Seattle jumps up. No, Seattle actually not jumping up. A little less Seattle, a little bit more Colorado, but pretty even here. The only team we're not getting to is Tampa against Kirby there at home. I mean, they could put up something, but we'll see. And, yeah, there you have it. So there's a look at what I'd get if I was using SaberSim. Just goes to show you how much these projections matter. And it's not that you're worse off with one set or the other if you're just using them to build, a lineup. But they do change your pool, and they do really affect what you get to. So keep that in mind. And that's why we're proud of our projections and think we have really sharp ones that are great to use in conjunction with SaberSim, and you can get it all in one package. So let's now build 4-mans for FanDuel. We'll use Goldie's stuff, and we'll bounce. So let's switch to Goldie's projections and build and see who we're getting on FanDuel. I imagine it's going to be, I mean, let's see. Let's take a look projections wise on FanDuel. See if we can't guess. I mean, these guys, so these 70 to 71 value pitchers are all kind of bunched up, but then Berger, it's standing out again. The question is, do we need the salary savings on Berger? If not, I think we're going to get a lot of Kirby and probably some Zebby again. They're kind of bunched up in value. They're priced up. Same with Robbie Ray, but usually pricing's not an issue on FanDuel, so you tend to get to a lot of this higher price pitching anyway on the one pitcher site. But we'll find out. We'll see how much Berger we do get to. I mean, the savings got to give you something, right? All right, we've got 5,000 lineups built. Finalizing lineups, it says. Don't mind if I do. And let's run the simulation. So what are we doing? We're simulating the contest. So we're saying, here's what we think the other people in the contest are going to do. These are the lineups they're going to play, right? Not just the ownerships, but the lineups that are going to be in the contest, what they're going to look like, how they're going to be stacked, what pitchers they're going to be with, what the combinations are going to be. And then we're going to take our lineups and simulate them against those lineups in the contest with its payout structure and its size and its entry limits and so on. And then it's going to say, how did your lineup perform against those lineups? What's its ROI? How does it grade against those? So let's see. Looks like a whole bunch of San Fran on hitters. Yeah, Robbie Ray standing up, but we're pretty spread out here. You do get 18% of the Bergrit, right, with the field, getting significantly over on Robbie Ray. Now, these are using Goldie stuff, not SaberSim. I imagine with SaberSim, we get even more. Then Kirby, Zebby, a little bit of Nola. So you do get those higher priced pitchers, but some of the spend down on Bergrit is there. Let's see stacks, just how much San Fran we got to. 61%. Almost half our portfolio is for four-man San Francisco's. You get the Kansas City in there. Seattle jumps up. Yankees jump up. Colorado jumps up. Why do they jump up? Probably because pricing is softer on FanDuel. You could get some more Seattle in there. You could fit some Yankees in there. Like you weren't able to do that as easily on DraftKings. So hence the better projected teams kind of fitting in and probably fitting in with some San Francisco here too. So there you have it. There's where we're going on FanDuel. We took a look at DraftKings for both slates. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us out. Check out TrueDFS.com. NFL 2025 is the promo code. It's all caps. 33% off your first month. We'd love for you to join us. Come in our Discord, chat it up. There's a lot of good stuff going on. It's not just sweating the games, but a lot of good strategy talk and DFS talk in general for all sports. So with that, I wish you good luck on the early slate, on the main slate, and let's